Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'm going to be giving my first impressions review after my first run in the Nike Alphafly Next Percents. And actually this is going to be my final review of that shoe as well. After running in the shoe for 30 minutes, it actually became unrunnable and I no longer have the shoes with me. I've since had to send them back to the running store where I got them. So stick around to find out what happened. Alright, so first and last run done in the Alphaflys. I made it just over 30 minutes. I focused on this run doing a faster 5K to test the Alphaflys, and I came through in about 3:28 per kilometer. And before we get into how the shoes felt and what went terribly wrong with them, let's go over some of the Alphafly stats. So get started with the upper. The Alphafly has a fly knit upper called Atom Knit. And this stuff has no stretch whatsoever, with an exception of, I think there's a different material kind of where the tongue is, and that allows for a little bit of stretch and it helps you to get your foot in a little bit easier. But other than that section, the rest of the Atom Knit is very tight, very breathable as well. And in return, that makes the shoe a lot lighter and also isn't going to soak up any water. I did really like the laces on the Alphafly. They kind of have like a serrated edge and they just help stay done up a lot better. And now we'll talk about what makes this shoe so special. The Alphafly midsole is made out of Nike's ZoomX foam. Most people who have experienced this foam will probably tell you that this is the best foam or midsole out there on the market. Very squishy, bouncy, has a lot of energy return. And in the Nike Alphafly, it has 40 millimeters of the ZoomX foam in the rear and 36 in the forefoot for a heel to toe drop of 4 millimeters. And actually 40 millimeter stack height is now the limit of what's allowed on race day as far as stack heights in shoes go. Sandwiched in between the ZoomX foam is a carbon plate, and the size or thickness of this plate actually varies depending on your shoe size. So the smaller the shoe, the plate's going to be more flexible, and the larger the shoe, the plate's going to be more stiff. And then under the forefoot on each shoe, we have two big air pods. Now these air pods combined with the ZoomX foam and the carbon plate are supposed to give you a ton of energy return. This is the shoe, after all, that Kipchoge took and broke the 2-hour marathon world record with. The Nike Alphafly does fit true to size. So for myself, in my other racing shoes, I'm almost always an 8.5. And this was no exception in the Alphafly. An 8.5 seemed to fit me just perfect. And mine weighed in at 7.45 ounces or 210 grams. And while I certainly have a lot of race shoes that are lighter than that, the Alphafly being so much shoe, it has that huge stack height, it has the air pods, it has a carbon fiber plate. For a shoe that has so much going on, coming in under 8 ounces in my size is really quite remarkable. Okay, now with all of the shoe specs out of the way, let's talk about my experience. So like I said, my first run in this shoe, I wanted to test it out by doing a fast 5K, and my initial thoughts are it's certainly not a 5K shoe. In my opinion, it felt a little bit big and bulky. It did feel better once I got up to speed, but as far as running a 5K, my cadence was actually really low compared to if I was wearing some of my lower profile shoes. I'm quite certain even if I had worn the Vaporfly, my cadence would have been a lot faster. So I think just because there is so much of that squishy ZoomX foam, and because there is such a massive high stack height, it's just going to be a harder shoe to have a really quick turnover in. Now with that being said, I definitely did notice quite a bit of energy return. I'm not sure if I personally felt there was more energy return than the Vaporfly, which is Nike's other super shoe, which I completely am in love with. The Alphafly did feel quite a bit more stable than the Vaporfly, as it has quite a bit of a wider base. And you can certainly notice the air pods when you're running in the Alphafly. It kind of feels like there's a bubble under your foot. I'm not saying it feels bad, but it certainly feels kind of weird. The Vaporfly felt weird to run in at first, and the Alphafly felt even more weird to run in at first. Okay, so now let's talk about what many of you are probably waiting to hear about. I unfortunately had one of my AirPods pop on me. I don't think it had happened during the 5K, but it had happened probably within like 30 minutes of my first run in them. So I had done my warm-up, I had done my main set of a fast 5K, and then I went and grabbed my camera and I was going to take some running shots. And I actually got the moment on camera where I realized that the AirPod had popped. So I had set my GoPro up, I was going to get some running shots of me running past, and I started to hear air being released from the bottom of my shoe. The roads were kind of wet, so I thought maybe it was just the rubber or the foam squeaking, and then I had the dreaded thought of, oh you've got to be kidding me. Is this the AirPod? So you can see there, I reach down, I feel that the AirPod on the lateral side is deflated. I check on the other side to see that it's inflated. There's nothing wrong with that side. So I pick up my camera, I drop a few F-bombs, and I head back to my car, send an email to the store where I picked them up from. They said, yeah, we'll take care of that, no problem. They sent me a return label, so I actually sent the shoes back to the store. I think they're probably gonna send them to Nike for a warranty claim. And yeah, the AirPod on the lateral side was deflated. It had a hole in it, so I don't know what happened. Almost my entire run was done on pavement. I didn't do any sort of trail running. I don't know if it was just a faulty AirPod. I know you can look up some other examples of people who have had this happen, but from what I understand, it's very, very rare. So overall, I'm totally unimpressed with the Alphafly. I told the running store that I would prefer a different shoe, and I think they're going to give me a slight refund and send me a pair of Saucony Endorphin Pros. Just because of this experience I had, I don't think I could trust running on a shoe that has an AirPod again. I can't imagine getting ready for a marathon and having a DNF or a much slower time because one of your AirPods deflated. Now, I'm used to doing triathlons, and you have a lot of DNFs sometimes in triathlons due to a mechanical issue on the bike. So to have a DNF in a run due to a mechanical issue on your shoe, that just seems a little crazy to me, and I can't put my trust back into the Alphafly. With that being said though, I totally love the Vaporfly, and when I was actually doing the 5K in my Alphaflys, I kept thinking how much more I like that Vaporfly. The Vaporfly for myself has more than enough cushion to get me through a marathon, and it comes in at an ounce lighter than the Alphafly, so I think that probably would have been my go-to shoe anyways. So overall, I'm not making this video to scare you out of buying an Alphafly. I just wanted to share my experience with you. The Alphafly, and especially the Vaporfly, in my opinion, are very special shoes, and they certainly do help you go faster. Just know that there is a possibility that you could pop one of the AirPods, and then basically the shoe's going to become unrunnable because that AirPod isn't going to have any function. It's not going to have any sort of energy return. I just had a bad experience, and it just happened to be within my first run and within my first 30 minutes, unfortunately. So thanks for watching my first impressions review. I currently have a new Saucony Endorphin Pro on the way to me, so stay tuned for a review on that in a few weeks.